So we were talking about the future tense using will, won't for the negative, and to ask a question, you start with the verb, so will. So this question, it will be hotter in my country in the future. Number 2, the rainfall in this country won't increase in the future. So we have a negative. The subject is this country won't increase. The rainfall, is the subject, won't increase in the future. So negative sentence, we say won't, verb, won't increase. In the future, you could also say, remember I said that the time, you can put it at the end of the sentence or at the beginning of the sentence. So in the future, the rainfall in this country won't increase. I don't think the number of dry deserts will increase. Okay, so negative, not a negative, it's just adding I don't think. So you're saying you're not sure. Okay, I don't think the number of dry deserts will increase. So remember, when you say will, you mean in the future. We can also ask a question. Will the number of dry deserts increase in the future? That's a present simple question. We start with will. There will be longer summers. Positive, will. Now remember I said we use will be with adjectives. So will be adjective. There will be longer summers. You can ask a question. Will the summers be longer in Colombia? You can respond, no, the summers won't be longer because there are no seasons. The percentage of people living in cities will decrease. We can ask that question, will the percentage of people living in cities decrease? Everyone will speak English. We can ask a question, will everyone speak English in the future? People won't use petrol in the future. Will people use petrols in their car? We can respond, no, they will not. Or again, we can say, no, they won't. I think I'll, now you can put I will, you can connect it. I'll move to a warmer country. And we can see that with number 12, we have a contraction. So the contraction is when we connect the subject to the verb. And when we do, this is the pronunciation. So for the first subject, I, so I will becomes I'll. If you say you and will, you'll say you'll. She, she'll. He, he'll. It, it'll. We, will. They, they'll. So I'll let you hear a little audio and have a listen to those contractions.
Track 111, Unit 12A.
1.
I will visit space in my lifetime.
2.
I think I'll learn Spanish.
3.
Will you visit me one day?
4.
The percentage of people in the countryside will decrease.
5.
I don't think there'll be more snow this winter.
6.
It'll rain here tonight.
Okay, so let's put that into our notes. So as I said, we can contract. That means put together the subject and the verb. And if we do, it becomes I'll, you'll, he'll, she'll, it'll, will, they'll, and I'll just repeat that. I'll, you'll, he'll, she'll, it'll, will, they'll. Now it's really hard to pronounce that as a beginner. So I recommend do not connect them. Just say I will, you will, he will, she will, it will, we will, they will. Okay, when you're a bit more advanced, then you start to connect your subject and your verb. Okay, but it's the same. I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so that was pronunciation. So remember the future simple, it's just one of the ways that we can talk about the future, because there's the future perfect, there's the future continuous. There's different ways that we can talk about the future. This is the simple one, which means it's the basic one. It's the first beginner one that you'll learn. And it's very simple. You just say subject, will, verb. If it's a negative, won't, it's very common to say won't. I won't see you tomorrow. And if I want to ask someone, will I see you tomorrow? Will you work tomorrow? Okay, so future simple tense. We're sure about what is going to happen in the future. We're saying what action will happen in the future. Now let's write about what will your life be like in the future. So we're going to practice by using the future simple. What will your life be like in the future? So imagine, what is your life like in the future? So let's read some examples before you write your writing. So Jose says, I will travel throughout the United States and work at Disney. I will write a very famous comic book and I'll have my own restaurant in Miami. Viviana says, in the future, I will buy a house with my sister and will travel next year back home to see my family. But before then, I will travel with my friends to Thailand. Adriano, currently, my future will be about learning English, which will help with taking a course related to engineering. So that in the near future, I will specialize in my profession back in Brazil. Juanita says, in the future, I will get married and have a family. I will visit many different countries, such as Japan. I will have an excellent job. I will have a big and beautiful house. I will study a postgraduate degree. And finally, I will start my own company back home in Colombia. Angeli says, in my future, I will travel to many countries, for example, Thailand, Japan, and Spain. I will also see the Northern Lights in Iceland and will speak English very well. Jonathan says, in my future, My daughter will be the best dancer in town. And for me, in 3 years, I will work in a bank again. Yaneth online. Next year, I will go to the zoo, and next week, I will go to the zoo, and next year, I will visit my family in Colombia. In the near future, I will study medicine and will also travel to several countries to explore different cultures. Sebastian, in the future, I will marry my girlfriend, and together we will build a greenhouse farm together. We will also set up a company to market agricultural products. We will also set up a foundation to care for elderly people who are homeless. Anna says, in my future, I will return to my country to enjoy my time with my family. I will speak English very well. I will also go to the Coldplay concert in November in Sydney. Yellis says, in the future, I will graduate in cooking. I will get married and will have a family. I will travel many different countries, especially Dubai. I will have an excellent level of English. I will have a big and beautiful house. And finally, I will have my own fusion restaurant in Australia. Jessica, in the future, I will change professions and will continue to learn English. Oscar, in the future, I will get to know the whole of Europe. And in a year's time, I will start a master's degree. Lewis, when I think about my future, right now, the first thing that comes to mind is being able to speak and understand English well. Fo, I think my future will be better if I study English well, because English will help me work and develop myself better. Julian, I'll enjoy time with my family in Colombia, and together we will travel to Australia and we will go to the beach. Also, I will study some course, which I'm not too sure on yet, but for certain, I know I will be happy because the universe treats us well. Sebastian, in the future, I will have a beautiful family. I will have 3 children and visit many countries with them. Brian, I will finish my degree in a few years and then study a master's. I think I'll visit different countries, in particular Norway. I will have a good job and I'll work in the IT industry. I will learn more languages and will visit my family in Colombia. Victor, as soon as possible, I'll be fluent in English and I'll return home to Brazil to visit my relatives. I'll also visit many places around the world. I'll acquire a lot of knowledge and earn more money than before. Fernando, my future job will be as an engineer in a construction company, and I'll be able to travel to many countries and live in Japan. Of course, I will be able to do all this with the necessary level of English to be able to get to my career. Min, my daughter will go to school every day and she'll learn to be a singer in the future. When I walk her to school, she will sing and her singing is very good. Shirley, I will travel around the world. My passport will be filled with stamps from countries I've yet to discover. Experiencing different climates will be a part of my future as a global wanderer. I will capture the beauty of the world by preserving these moments and meeting people from all across the globe. Dickerson, when I think about my future, the first thing that comes to mind is being the administrator of my own hostel and cafe, which has been a project of mine that I hope will be fulfilled in about 5 years. So this was some writing about using will, talking about what do you think will happen in your life in the future.